Hi everyone, and welcome in here to the Fishbowl Radio. My name is Chief here as always, and I'm going to be talking a little bit of LSU Tiger football and Louisiana Raging Cajun football here on this week here. It's been a long time since we've actually had an episode here on the Fishbowl Radio. I'm glad to be back. Juicy and Mike Honcho should be joining me shortly, and they will be on the show as well. I got them coming on later up in the show, so don't go anywhere. So we got a couple of big things really going on in the world of college football this week. Got the SEC championship coming on this week. Bowl projections are a really big thing that has basically been solved throughout the last week because of they had, I think, 82 teams that were vying for bowl spots, and I think everybody's going to feel it. Vanderbilt beat Tennessee, which knocked Tennessee out from getting a bowl game, which was a battle for bowl eligible basically in the SEC conference. You have that. The Cure Bowl for Sun Belt made an announcement today. We'll get into that. LSU, Texas A&M game, 7 overtimes. We're going to get into that. Happened this past Saturday, basically almost Sunday morning if you really want to get into the specifics of it. UL, Louisiana, went on the road to Louisiana Monroe and was able to beat them. So, I mean, that was a really good win for Louisiana. They did a really good job. So, I mean, if you look at all this here, it's really good for Louisiana to actually have a really good standard of, I think Billy Napier has done an amazing job for Louisiana this season here. A lot of people, I was thinking they were going to finish 5-7. I didn't think LSU was going to have as good of a year as they did either. I thought they might barely even get to a bowl game, maybe even miss a bowl game with LSU with the schedule that they had. But hey, they both proved me wrong this year. I'll give you a benefit of a doubt there that they completely blew me away with what they were able to do this year. So now we have Cure Bowl announcement on the table. Louisiana UL Monroe game. We're going to get into that. Bowl projection. We'll get into that. And the SEC championship, which is going to take place this Saturday between Alabama and Georgia. We have a poll on our Facebook page, and we'd like to get your input on that on the Fishbowl Radio. You just search the Fishbowl Radio on Facebook. You'll find us there. So, back to the Cure Bowl announcement. Earlier today around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Sun Belt made an announcement with the Cure Bowl that the loser will go to the December 15th Cure Bowl in Orlando, Florida. The Sun Belt announced today. The winner will go to the New Orleans Bowl that was announced, I think, a week ago. That's when it was announced that would take place. So, in this game between the preview game of Louisiana versus Appalachian State, App State opens up as 17-point favorites in this game. And last game they played, they've only beaten Louisiana by 10 points last time that they were able to play each other in that game. And, I'd like to welcome my guest here today, our LSU football insider, Juicy. How's it going, my buddy?
Oh, good, buddy. What's up, man?
Hey, it's been a while since we've been doing one of these broadcasts, huh?
I know it's been a long time. We've been off the air for a little while.
Yeah, I decided to sort of back up, we've kind of got our, let's say, affairs in order.
We signed our big contract.
Yeah, we're back, baby. We're back. Multi-million-dollar company right here.
Yeah, we have to make a big record deal.
Yeah. Okay. I know you want to get into that LSU Texas A&M game, but I'm gonna hold you for a second on that. Louisiana played Appalachian State last time. They lost by 10 points. They're opening as 17-point favorites here. The Sun Belt.
App State is.
Yeah, the App State is opening as favorites. Excuse me on that. But the Sun Belt made an announcement today about the Cure Bowl in Orlando, Florida. The loser of the Sun Belt Conference Championship game will go to the Cure Bowl, which is in Orlando, Florida.
And the winner goes to the New Orleans Bowl.
And the winner goes to the New Orleans Bowl. You are correct. on that. I'm glad you done your homework, Juicy. All right, now give me this here. Who you think is going to win the Sun Belt Championship game?
I know. App State, I think, is going to win again. I don't think it'll be 17 points. I think it'll a touchdown, maybe separate the two teams. But I think App State will edge it out.
Considering what Louisiana has done this year, I think Coach Billy Napier deserves to be the Sun Belt Coach of the Year.
Sun Belt Coach of the Year, yeah.
Yeah, because that was a great turnaround for them to because I was thinking they're going to maybe go 5-7 because they kind of had the same team they had last year, and I think he's made a tremendous improvement in the program.
But yeah, let's just hope he's not cheating the ACT scores like the other one was.
Yeah. Well, let's keep that in the past where it belongs, right? Yeah, but yeah, Coach Hudspeth, he had a good run, but I think the foundation for Louisiana football is being built more in terms he's not a hype coach. He's kind of settled. He's a very settled coach. You could tell his demeanor on his last time. I think at Louisiana Monroe. That's the last time I really seen him get hot at a referee. He was about to rip someone's head off, it looked like. But, I mean, he's come from that Coach Nick Saban pedigree. But in terms of picking for Louisiana and App State, we ran a poll on our Facebook page. And the results there, a lot of people were picking Louisiana, which is really interesting. Because
I wonder if those people are biased, though, considering probably a lot of them are from Louisiana.
Yeah, like the Texas A&M poll we had running too, and that, I mean, you kind of expect people to vote for the hometown team, but you'll get like some outliers picking
Hey, where's the game? Where's the Sun Belt Championship game being played at?
The Sun Belt Championship game will be played in Boone, North Carolina.
Oh, okay, the team with the better record.
Yeah.
Host. I wish the SEC would do that.
It would be kind of cool for the SEC to do something like that. I mean, it gives you an extra game. You get to go the Tiger Stadium or the Swamp.
Every year, everybody be going to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, the way it's looking, man, you never know. So that poll right now ends in 5 days, which it should end Saturday. I don't know what time Saturday. I guess at 6:41 was when the poll was posted. I'm guessing that's when it'll end. But we had a good bit of votes on it. So 83% going Louisiana, defeating Appalachian State, which has 17% of our votes there.
I try not to look at it from a biased point of view. I just try to base it off of how I see the season. What? I'm on the phone. Hey, I hope you didn't.
Yeah, everybody did.
Oh, dang, I tried to take the phone away from my ear.
Yeah, my phone has pretty good. Speaking of which, I got me some Black Friday stuff, but we're going to get into that after the show. But I think Louisiana is going to play better on defense. I just think App State is a better team than Louisiana this year. From a talent perspective.
At least this year, they're not going to beat App State, at least not this year.
If they do, it'll be a really close game. I think it might actually come down to a touchdown like you think as well. But I do think App State will win the Sun Belt Championship and go to the New Orleans Bowl, which they've been dying to go to. But, yeah, give me App State.
They're projected to play Louisiana Tech.
That'd be a good game. So, now let's get into this LSU Texas A&M 7 overtime game.
Yes, this fiasco.
This craziness that went on. I was hoping it would kept going. They'll both score 100 points. Both these teams here, Texas A&M beat LSU
74 to 72
on the 2-point conversion.
It was the highest score in college football game ever. And
that not only.
However, they had a lot of backlash about the officiating.
Yes, Twitter was really rampant about that. LSU gave Ed Orgeron a premature Gatorade bath because they thought they won the game.
And rightfully so. They should have, because that, first of all, the interception should have stood from what they said, and the game should have been over. Second of all, when they went to spike the ball, Texas A&M was in an illegal formation. So
I thought you couldn't spike the ball under 3 seconds remaining in regulation. I thought you couldn't spike the ball under 3 seconds in regulation. That came up in topic too.
I don't know for sure, but I know for sure they were in an illegal formation. So it should have been a flag, and the game clock should have ran off, and the game should have been over. And then that pass interference on Greedy Williams. And in one of the overtimes, that was a phantom call because both the receiver and the defender were playing the ball. So they said it should have been a no call. So LSU really got one ripped right out of their hands.
That was
the game should have never went to overtime.
Yeah, LSU, but that wasn't the game itself. Wasn't just the only crazy thing happening after the game. Kevin Falk went protect one of an LSU assistant. Someone would bench, throwing punches on the field after that was let's see, Glenn Gilbo of Gannett, Louisiana, reported that it stemmed from Cole Fisher hitting LSU assistant Steve in the Craig Thorpe, in the pacemaker on the field after the game. And this is what he had to say: I didn't appreciate getting punched in my pacemaker. I'm not feeling good right now. I have no idea who the guy is, but he was wearing an A&M shirt. And I think I saw him signaling during the game. He was credentialed. So A&M should know who he is. Now, we have posted different angles of this stuff on our Facebook page if you want to check it out there. But that was a really crazy event to have happened. And Texas A&M got fined for storming the field, which they always do every single SEC game. But they got fined less than LSU did, which is someone pointed out. I think LSU got fined $100,000, and Texas A&M only got $75,000.
What's your take on what do you think? LSU should have been the winner of that game?
It was just this. I felt LSU got robbed in this game. A couple of the plays, like that first down marker, him falling short in regulation. ESPN is really too technically sound in terms of technology to have stuff like that happen. Like someone was saying, they made a mistake. It was 3 yards off the thing. Normally, you can tell where the guy's lined up on the sideline over there. If he's at the 23-yard line, you can look and see right there. Oh, okay. You just count back and you just put the yellow marker where it needs to be. They made this stuff sound like it was too crazy and everything.
In fact, I know maybe half a yard off or something, but they were saying that ESPN was 2 yards off. Now, that's pretty far-fetched.
That's 6 feet.
Half a yard. Now, I might have believed half a yard or even a yard, but any more than that starts to get too technologically sound to be that much off.
Like if you're working for a network like ESPN, you're not going to be having that many issues if it's like a nationally televised game, which this LSU football game was.
Off on the first down.
Now ESPN Plus, I've seen the games where ESPN were kind of terrible at it, but that's kind of like lower level. It's not on cable network television.
Top-notch stuff right here.
Wait, what?
ESPN, we're talking about top-notch stuff right here.
Yeah, in terms of it's a network. It's like a CNN, a Weather Channel, a CBS World News Report, ABC World News. They're not going to have almost any mistakes on the air that you're going to notice back at home. Maybe behind the scenes something might go wrong, but you're not going to see it on the air. Not like your local television station.
There ain't no way with the technology that they got that they were 2 yards off. I believe half a yard, but not 2 yards, but not 2 whole yards.
So what do you think should be done with the SEC? You think the SEC should get involved with the punches thrown after the game?
I think for sure they're probably going to get involved. I think A&M would probably get involved too, considering that if they got any class, they sure wouldn't approve of no behavior like that from any of their assistant. Any of their staff
or person that had credentials to be on the football field during that time. They probably will revoke his credentials.
I was about to say if they could revoke all his field stuff and suspend him maybe.
So we'll have to wait and see on that. Louisiana defeated UL Monroe, or ULM, you rather want to call them, and they're able to win the Sun Belt Western Division Championship. What's your take on that, Juicy?
Well, I thought it'd be a close game, and I think I was more surprised at the season that UL Monroe had, considering that, I've never really seen them very good. I was really shocked that they had a chance to make it to the Sun Belt title game. I think Arkansas State's in y'all's division, huh?
Yeah, Arkansas State.
I was thinking Arkansas State was going to be the one to come out on top.
Well, Arkansas State, if they wouldn't have lost at Cajun Field, they would have won that game. They'd be the Sun Belt Western champions right now, but they lost that game, and that's what gave the head-to-head to Louisiana because they had already played each other and they already won. So I
was giving Arkansas State the favorite to win the division because they usually are pretty elite.
Louisiana was projected to finish second to last in the Sun Belt preseason poll when it came out. They had South Alabama ahead of them, UL Monroe in the Western Division. I'm only talking about the Western Division. Arkansas State. The only team that was ahead, that Louisiana was ahead of, was Texas State in the Western Division. They picked everybody else in front of them, almost everybody, to finish ahead of them, and it just didn't work out that way. So I think you look at what your preseason poll is, and you go look back at what happened during the year. The only game I think Louisiana should have not lost this year was to Coastal. Coastal, I think, was just a game that they just dropped one. I don't think they had. But the thing with this football team, I noticed every week they improved. They got better. They did something better every single week, and that was a big difference than when you see under Coach Husband. I think you can compare to both of them, and you can find some where you've seen improvement, whereas you didn't stay the same, which is a good sign for your football team. They're constantly improving week by week. So let's get to bowl projections. I've seen a lot of them. We have a lot of them on our Facebook page, kind of looking back at what's going on here. I've seen one where LSU was projected to play against UCF. Your thoughts on that possible matchup, UC?
Well, I guess it'd be good to see what UCF is made of. I know they beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl last year, and then they went on that whole fiasco about how they should have been the national champions and blah, blah, blah. But I think it'd be good to really, if UCF wants to see what they're made of, but UCF has only beaten one team with a winning record in the whole year. And, but the only projection that I've seen from the bowl projections was LSU in the Peach Bowl against Washington State.
I've seen that one too.
I think would be a much better matchup.
But what do you think about the whole UCF thing? Do you think if they would beat LSU in a bowl game, next year, I think you have to include them in next year. I don't think, because they're not going to go away. If they beat, a big power name school that has a chance to actually, win national championships, you have to include them in at some point.
Well, hold on, though, because next year they're opening up their season opener against Alabama.
That is true.
So, we'll see then.
Yeah. So,
but I know UCF's quarterback had broke his leg or something.
Yeah, he did. He did break his leg.
That would for sure already be a handicap.
But if you're a dynamic enough team, look at Alabama. They changed the guy that had the most experience. Is you know what, Tua? You go in there and you go play your game.
Tua won the national championship. Looks like he's the starter now.
Yeah, because they couldn't get it done with the other. Now that brings us into another interesting topic here: the SEC championship game. Juicy, who you got winning that game?
Well, I know Georgia's opening as 13-point underdogs. And, Alabama's sitting up there 12-0 and the favorite to win a national title and favorite to run through the playoffs. And I have to say, as bad as their average margin of victory is, I mean, I have to say that I have to go with the upset, and Georgia's going to beat them with the upset.
You're going with the upset.
I feel it. I feel at some point that Alabama's going to have to. They may not lose, but if there's going to be an upset, it might as well be this week.
Well, I believe this is the best Alabama football team that Nick Saban has put together during his time over there.
However, Georgia does have a quarterback who can play pretty well. Jake Fromm has national championship. He's been through the whole thing, all the experience. He's been through the whole thing already, and that was only as a true freshman. Now he's just a sophomore. There ain't no reason that he shouldn't be nervous or rattled or anything like that.
I think Kirby Smart has done a really good job at Georgia, and the Eastern Division is a lot weaker than the Western side of things.
Well, with the exception of Georgia, everybody else is pretty much.
Well, you got Vanderbilt and Tennessee fighting each other for bowl eligibility spot, and Tennessee losing out on that one, which is interesting enough. But Florida's not really that bad of a team this year. Don't want no hate mail from Florida. No Florida Gator fans. They did pretty decent this year.
Dan Mullen's going to do a lot with Florida, though.
Yeah, he will. He did a lot of Mississippi State.
Yeah, considering what he had to work with. He's got a whole lot more to work with over there.
Yeah. And I think Jimbo Fisher, that West is just getting stacked. All these schools are paying so much money to get these coaches just to beat Nick Saban.
Even look at LSU. Ain't nobody gave them a shot to maybe win but 5 or 6 games. And
I was one of them.
They should have won 10 games.
I was one of them.
And they should have at least won 10, but they got robbed of 1, but they still won 9.
I was one of them. I didn't think LSU was going to go to a bowl game this year. I looked at that schedule and I was like, oof. Because I didn't believe in Coach O. I just don't.
But it seems like Coach O's surely making strides with the LSU, though.
Well, his strides, I would think, would be 11-win seasons. I think he's just kind of maintaining.
Well, hold on, though. This is only his second full year.
I think he's maintaining so far what Les Miles had. Now, if he goes win 11 games next year, then he's making strides. Right now, he's
got a chance to win 10 games this year.
Which is about what Les Miles was doing for a long time at LSU as well.
He really should be having a chance to win 11 games, but
Well, we'll see.
Because A&M game should have been a win, but we'll have to get over that because it done happened.
Yeah, the clock hit 0 in overtime, and LSU did not have more points than other teams, so that's why they lost. John Madden logic, right?
Yeah, you're right. Scored more points, but
Joe Burrow played his heart out.
It should have been a win.
Joe Burrow played his heart out that game.
Oh yeah, he was on a roll.
He did really good for LSU. Now, what do you think about that Ohio State-Michigan game?
I was shocked Ohio State had won by as much as they did. I thought Michigan was kind of rolled over them a little bit, but I was really shocked at Ohio State. I know they've had a problem. Ohio State, their problem was for a lot of the year when the offense plays well, when the defense will play horrible, and when the defense will play well, the offense will play horrible. And finally, they got it together in the last game where both the offense and the defense played pretty well, and they look like a complete team.
Yeah, now I'm going to pull up ESPN's bowl projection to see who they got in the top 4 here. Alabama obviously is going, and Clemson's obviously going.
Well, that's assuming they win now.
That you caught me there. We're jumping ahead of ourselves here.
That's assuming they win.
Assuming. Oh man, you can't. That assuming ain't too good.
I'm telling you, don't count out Georgia. No, they some scrappy little team.
Yeah. So the projections have Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Oklahoma in the Final 4. So,
obviously, Oklahoma for sure is Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's in the top 4 now, huh?
Yeah.
Oh well, Ohio State, and who's ranked number 5?
Well, I think Ohio State was 6.
6. I forgot who's number 5.
Let's see.
The first team out.
Georgia's 4 right now. Oklahoma's 5 right now.
Oh, well.
Like we're talking futuristic. Like who would jump where?
Oklahoma, I know it's going to be some Georgia fans this weekend, assuming that Oklahoma wins, which I think they'll beat Texas the second time around.
Yeah, you have to. I don't think. Oof. Ugh, man. Oklahoma's 5, Ohio State 6, Michigan 7, UCF is 8. I would put UCF at 7 over Michigan. They have 2 losses and they're undefeated.
Nah, UCF.
Put them at 7. I'll put them at 7.
UCF, their strength of schedule is like 112 in the country.
Well,
why do you think they ain't got no respect from nobody?
Here's the thing. If you would invite people to go play you, like let's say if I went up to Alabama and I was like, hey, I want to play you in a football game, and they told me no, then how am I supposed to prove myself?
True, but there's got to be somebody that'll be willing to play you.
Well, they're going to get their chance next year when they open up against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be... If you want to win up a game, UCF, you got to beat Alabama.
I ain't gonna lie, that'll probably be the first game of pool for Alabama because I think UCF. I lost it off UCF when they tried to claim themselves as national champions, and they didn't even have no ring.
And they made shirts and everything, man.
I hope Alabama shuts them up, honestly.
Well, if they lose Alabama to UCF, which... This all makes me think back to Boise State in 06, 07, somewhere around there.
Yeah, but Boise State's, you got to know the head coach they had at Boise State back then is the head coach that's at Washington now. The Huskies. That's why, and he's done a lot with that program. So I mean, Boise State was a pretty good team.
LSU fell 3 spots to number 10.
Yeah, they only fell 3. I mean, hell, they went to 7 overtimes. I figured they wouldn't fall that far.
Drop 10. You're like, oof.
They didn't even drop out the top 10.
So, Florida moved up 2. Washington moved up 5. Washington State dropped 5. So, yeah, we have a lot going on for this week here. And let me see here. I want to look at their... Oh, I seen a bowl projection from ESPN that said App State was going to the Cure Bowl. So they're projecting Louisiana going to the New Orleans Bowl. So they're projecting App State to lose. One of them guys. Is it Sherman?
Well,
I think it is Sherman.
Have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, Sherman picked UAB versus Louisiana.
I seen somebody at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, versus App State. Yep.
sake they win. I mean,
Well, it'll be their first Sun Belt championship since, well, they won it in 2013, but then they got to vacate it. So not, if you are one of those where, well, we already played the game, we won, so let us keep it. Then you'll say 2013,
well,
but
you kind of got to go. Always go by what the record books show. Always go by the books.
so non-vacated, it's been since 2005, which they had a three-way tie for it between
Wow.
Louisiana Monroe, Arkansas State, and Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
That was when Ricky Bustle.
That was the Ricky Bustle age. Yeah, technically, Coach Hudspeth never won a Sun Belt championship,
Yeah, that's true.
if you want to get real technical with it.
Including, yep. If you don't include the 2013 season, he never won one.
So, that will be it for the show today. I think it was a pretty good one, honestly, for everybody involved here. If you want to keep up with us, you can check out our Facebook page. You just type in Fishbowl Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at Fishbowl Nation, and you can also follow us on Instagram, the Fishbowl Radio. I'd like to thank Juicy for joining me here today. Thank you for showing up to the show, Juicy.
Oh, anytime.
We'll try to do it all again next week sometime, whenever we can. What's the best option for everybody involved? We hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever you want to call it. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a great and wonderful night. I'll